Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday morning. We appreciate you starting your day with us. Hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind, as we'll be here with you until 9 a.m. this morning. We will talk to Jake Crain of Crain and Company. We'll also have a text message into Brody Miller to get him involved here at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. We'll be reacting to all of the college football weekend now that it is in the books. Last night, Georgia Tech falls to Clemson for the last college football weekend of week one. And put your boy into the black.
Oh, you put a little bet in?
After a weekend of getting slaughtered on Saturday, I thought I was going to give it up. Our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook with Ofer on Saturday. Everything I touched turned rotten on Saturday. I did have the Tigers under on Sunday and started to see the ship started to maybe like turn the bow a little bit. And then caught Clemson minus 23 to try and get back in the black last night, and they rolled 41-10. So,
and they turned it on late, Coach.
They did.
Because it was
I went to bed expecting the L. Woke up early, saw the win, went back to bed.
No better feeling in the world. Check the account.
I knew it the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I can rest easy.
Absolutely.
That's what happened on Sunday. I was like, I don't even know if I want to look at my account because I have no idea how much money I bet on LSU. Turns out the Jeray Jenkins late touchdown on the little player prop saved your boy.
Nice.
And then we did LSU first half under. That cashed. LSU second half wins because it was LSU plus 2.5 at halftime. Took that. So just always battling. We're always battling. Caesars, if we're live, we're live. We're playing.
No doubt about it. No,
Never
I'm in now,
fight.
bro. I'm in. I'm looking at what can we bet tonight? I mean, is there anything out there? I mean, give me something.
Horse racing, right? Now it's good to track.
Perfect timing for the NFL weekend. Remember, you can get involved with our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook. Download the app today if you have not already set up your account. Use the promo code JCLSUFull. JCLSUFull would get you entered to Caesar Sportsbook with a chance to win coming up this weekend with spreads and lines already starting to come out. All right.
It's a $1,500 risk-free bet?
Risk-free. Risk-free.
I think it's $1,250 risk-free bet with that code.
JCLSU Full is the bet. All right, Brian Kelly is speaking to the press today at a little after noon. We will be there. Looking forward to see what Coach Kelly has to say in this press conference. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Metropolitan Health Group, real doctors, real solutions. Get in touch with Charles Harvey and Jason Ramazan for all that's going on over there at Metropolitan Health Group. So Coach Kelly's going to speak to the media today, a little afternoon. Obviously, with the holiday on Monday, his press luncheon was bumped a day here until Tuesday. In-game week, and I'd imagine that he will lead off with the devastating news that Tigers got confirmed yesterday that one of their best defensive players, Maason Smith, has torn his ACL after one series on Sunday night and will be out for the remainder of the season. This happened very early in the game on Sunday night when Smith was celebrating a tackle for loss after he had blown up the line of scrimmage to create the push, and then he celebrating jumps straight up, and if you watch it back, it's tough to watch because he comes down on a straight leg and his knee just explodes. I mean, it just pops right there on
I'll never forget that. We all stared at each other like
on the Superdome.
It wasn't even a crazy jump though.
It was
just a little like skip jump.
That's what was weird.
Yeah, was that thing waiting to go?
It had to be, right?
I mean,
no way.
It didn't make any sense.
That did not look
like it would have just
taken him out. It didn't look like it was going to blow his knee out.
No.
By any means.
I mean,
but the way he landed was awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
awkward, but it didn't look like injury awkward.
Yeah. At first, I was like, maybe an ankle. Maybe he just
no, he grabbed that knee.
300 plus pounds bouncing on a straight leg knee. You know, I mean, that's.
If you can't do that, you can't do anything.
I mean, right?
So I mean, it is a terrible.
It was terrible.
Unfortunate,
start
man.
Yeah.
For LSU's defensive season, and Smith, who came back out in the second half as he was crutching out, you could see still the tears and the devastation for him personally in what he was going through on Sunday night, confirmed on Monday after the MRI results came back with a torn ACL, which will keep him out the remainder of the season. Now, obviously, this injury has scientifically come legions over the last 10 to 15 to 20 years of research. And, an ACL injury, especially for a big guy, used to almost be a death sentence in football. And as we've known, time, science, medical attention has changed. And, hopefully Smith can get back, maybe even by spring, have some type of prognosis of getting back onto the field very early next season. If there's any positive to take away from this story is that it happened very early in his sophomore season, which should give him enough time to rehab and get back and fully participate, if not fully participate, play predominantly next year, which, by all accounts, Maason Smith will be, 3 and done. I mean, it felt like he was going to be. There's some services that had Maason Smith a top 3 pick after the 2023 draft. Some people looked at him as a potential number 1 pick just because of his athleticism, size, and his ability to change the game. I had somebody tweet in this morning, what has Maason Smith done to change a game? If you don't see what Maason Smith brings to the game every play that he's out there, I can't help you watch the sport of football.
Watch the play that he got hurt on.
Just because he's not sacking the quarterback, just because he's not maybe around the ball every single play, the disruption that he causes on the snap of the ball and the attention that he gathers from the other offensive line, from the guys that are lined up across from him. I mean, they've got to dedicate 2 players towards him every snap, which now you got single coverage on Jaquelin Roy, or you got single coverage on Ali Gay or B.J. Ojulari. What Maason Smith does for the entire game plan goes mostly unseen. But if you know what you're watching, you know that LSU without number 0 is a totally different unit on that side of the ball because of just the attention and the disruption that he causes just by firing off. I mean, just by coming off of his stance, by coming out of his stance, he causes so much confusion for the offensive line that you take him away a series into the season and, people are looking around saying, how do you bounce back from this? Where do you go from here? And for as healthy as LSU was during training camp, and that was a story, they were as healthy as they've really felt like they've ever been coming out of training camp. All of that washed away losing that player on the first series of the season. And it almost got like dire real quick because on the next play, B.J. Ojulari's not getting up off the carpet. And he goes into the tent. I mean, we were sitting up there, Katie, Mikey, and I were sitting up there with, with our significant others. And, we were watching B.J. Ojulari. Maason Smith's already in the tent. A play later, B.J. Ojulari's like bumping, trying to elbow him out of the way to catch a spot in the tent so he can get evaluated. I mean, you're looking at your 2 best defensive players, back-to-back plays, where you lose one for the season, and luckily Ojulari was able to bounce back, and he had a tremendous, I thought, opening game to his seat. He killed Rodgers on that first play, or Travis on that first play. He just barreling down on him, put his helmet right into his rib cage. I was surprised Travis was able to get up from that, but I thought BJ was hounding the quarterback all season, all night long. But the news on Maason Smith sucks, man. It really does from just an impact standpoint, a morale standpoint, and from an X&O standpoint. LSU's defensive line just went from, if not its most talented group and deepest group on the team, to a spot that you got to have guys step up now.
So now we're looking at Mekhi Wingo.
Mekhi Wingo is going to play a lot of football now. Jacoby and Guillory is going to be asked to play more football now. Jaquelin Roy is going to be asked to do some things that he may be uncomfortable doing or things that he wasn't ready to do this season. People are going to have to shift their focus and shift what they bring to the table because you can't replace Maason Smith. You're not going to replace him. You're going to have to do it by committee. You're going to have to do it with a couple of guys that can go out there and give you reps doing certain things. Maason Smith, his skill set just it can't be replicated. So this is a huge hit, man. It sucks to start the second week of the season off with this news after you fell the way that LSU, lost on Sunday night.
And no reason to throw a red shirt on him or anything like that, correct?
No.
Just because, he'll probably be one more year and he's out of here.
Absolutely.
If he comes back and has a dominant year like you expect, he's probably still going to go to the NFL. So,
no, I would imagine that next year, whether Maason Smith is fully healthy or not, he still goes. He's got enough vitals.
Look at him.
Size, speed, things that you just can't coach. Things that just God put to Maason Smith that
he took extra time on Maason.
From a football playing standpoint, he's sculpted exactly what you want your defensive tackle to look like. People asking about Quincy Wiggins. I saw Quincy Wiggins on a scooter on Sunday. Not that type of scooter.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Not again.
God.
Like he was
Not again.
Almost looked like an ankle scooter where he can kind of move around out there. He was in a boot and he was not dressed down on Sunday night. So
Will Campbell took all the attention away from him when he was on the scooter.
Yeah, so we'll ask. I'm sure Brian Kelly will be asked about Quincy Wiggins today and just what the plan is with him as you start to dig deep into this depth of the defensive line rotation for LSU. We'll ask him what the status of Quincy Wiggins is going in to week 2 here. This would be the game, right? This would be the week that you would hope that you would be able to to get some guys some run and get some guys some playing time and be able to put some guys on the shelf and get them healthy after last week's physical game. You would hope that you would be able to play some of these guys on Saturday versus Southern just to get them some reps and get them some experience moving down the line, because at some point you're going to have these guys. You're going to have the Desmond Littles. I thought Savion Jones played well the other night in extended action. His real first extended action that we've seen, the Vacherie native come in and play physically. Good Lord. He looks the part. So that defensive line's got dudes. They got guys that they can look at. And I know that, that Jones is not a down lineman. He's a stand-up guy. But, just on that defensive line, you've got athletes and you got numbers that you can play with. And but it's a big hit. There's no way that anyone can sell. I can't sell anybody at lunch today trying to tell you, anybody that's trying to call you and tell you what's going on with LSU's defense. Nobody can sell you that losing Maason Smith is not an enormous deal. That's a huge hit. Huge hit. I would say outside of BJ, Maason Smith would be the only other guy that you would say you don't want to lose him. You know what I mean? You'd almost say injuries are going to happen in football. They happen every year. But if to lose Maason Smith on the first offensive drive of the game is about as bad as it could get for LSU.
It's kind of like 2018. Was it 2018 when you lost Kayshawn on the first drive against Miami? Or the first half? It's kind of similar to that, where you expected, when you think about the defense, this is the guy that comes to mind maybe first off the tongue. And then you see what he can do. He flashes, and then, boom, gone. And you're like, well, that was kind of counting on watching Maason Smith the rest of the year. Like, that's somebody you pencil in, you're like, all right, well, that's a stalwart that you're trying to build your defense around. So it couldn't really be a bigger blow on the defensive end.
Most of that game, I feel like my face and everyone's face around me was.
Wait, what was it?
Stop.
I don't do that again, Kate.
One more time?
Give it to us one more time.
That was a look of surprise, damn it.
Give us to us one more time.
That was a look of
The Florida State
surprise.
locker room or something?
Maybe like this.
Travis, over here.
Yeah.
Great game.
Busy in that hotel room. No wonder you weren't here yesterday. Phoenix Suns are in town.
Jesus. Okay, can we talk about Kayshawn and the Instagram
No, I want to
stuff?
talk about yourself.
Me too. Yeah, do that to Kayshawn. Go help him. Get him motivated.
Right. Can you call Kayshawn and show him the face you were making?
That's something Gordon can't offer. Yeah.
I'm trying to get number 7 back in.
Get him blocked in.
All right.
It's 7:15. It's so early. For real, Kayshawn, what is the deal with everybody freaking out about his Instagram, but then everyone's coming back and saying that all the wide receivers were made to delete their LSU affiliated?
They all did it on their own.
Did they?
Yeah.
But did they all do it Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a long bus ride.
Why though? Like, I don't understand.
People-
What's the reasoning behind that?
See, I heard they were getting like like negative comments
from fans.
Like,
which makes sense.
Yeah,
because I mean, like,
but why take everything off your Instagram?
Well,
like, you still play
know.
for LSU football.
I think like this has become, and I don't want to speak for today's kids, but I mean, like, I think this is the way that like,
this is right in your LA, right in your wheelhouse, Jordy.
I think this is where they make their statement. This is how they make their statements.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they scrub their social media if they're mad.
But that's so stupid.
Sure, it is to us.
I agree with you. The dumb part is people tweeting them and like DMing them. It's like, grow up.
I know.
Get a life.
Grow up.
I'd imagine that this is happening at fan bases all over the country.
No doubt.
But, I mean, that stuff is...
Really look at yourself in the mirror.
That is inexcusable. And for God's sakes, man, I mean, you're a loser if you're texting, tweeting, and going on social media at players. I mean, you've really got to evaluate your life if you're really getting that emotionally turned where you got to go on social media and at Kayshawn Boutte about his performance on Sunday night. I mean, like, really and truly. Ain't no way you got a girlfriend or anybody that's looking at you saying, cool move.
Yeah, great
like,
move.
That was awesome. Like, my guy just tweeted at Kayshawn. He's a stud, right? Like, you nerd.
I'm going to talk to him.
You know what I mean? Like, take the microscope out, find it below your belt, and just play with it for a little bit, bro. Don't tweet at the kids. You know what I mean? That stuff is, and not only that,
I gave him a piece of my mind.
If you really care about LSU football, if you really, like, if you're that obsessive about the product, all you're doing is damaging it.
Yeah.
Because all Kayshawn's doing is telling Shelton Sampson that when you don't have a good game, they're going to turn on you.
Exactly.
And don't think that that's not happening. You know, like from Kayshawn's point of view, Kayshawn's got no options. He's not going anywhere. If Kayshawn wants to be a professional football player, he's got to show out here in year 3 at LSU.
Okay,
he's not going to do that anywhere
question.
else.
Can he not? He cannot go anywhere. He cannot transfer if he wanted to?
He could if he wanted to.
But he can't transfer.
But, I mean, Kayshawn is in the discussion of being a top 10 pick.
I know.
He's not in the discussion of whether or not he's going to be drafted. The reason why Kayshawn is being – a lot of pressure is being put on him to perform this season is because, hey, man, do you want to be a top 10 pick?
Right.
You potentially are the best wide receiver in college football, maybe one of the best playmakers in the sport. That type of skill set can get you a lot of money really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Stingley's got a guaranteed $30 million contract as a top 3 pick in the draft.
Right.
Jamar Chase has got $25 million guaranteed to him. Kayshawn's talking to those guys. He's not looking at that. Mm-hmm. He's trading text messages with Stingley and Jamar saying, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the money is right there for Kayshawn. And the one thing that Kayshawn can't do is show his ass. He can't go out and have an attitude like he had on Sunday night.
Yeah, why did he do that?
He can't go out there and drop one pass and throw his chin strap down and look like he checks out of the game. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did that. But from what he's trying to accomplish, he can't do that.
Right.
And lucky for him, he's got 12 more opportunities to let these people that are in charge of making those choices and cutting those checks that he's dialed in. Mm-hmm. Because after the first test of his money year, he failed it.
Yeah.
People are looking at that and they're saying to themselves, or they're saying out loud, or they're saying to Cortez Hankton, or saying to Mike Denbrock, or saying to Frank Wilson, whoever they're talking to inside that locker room, and saying, what's going on with Kayshawn? Mm-hmm. What's the deal with number 7? Like, are we going to spend this draft capital on him? I mean, there's probably teams that are in the teens and 20s that are thinking about making a move for a wide receiver, and Kayshawn's one of the names on the board that they're saying, hey, we might have to make a move after this guy. Mm-hmm. And there's an owner of a team saying, this guy?
Exactly.
No. We're not looking at this guy. I want to look at the kid Jordan Addison at USC. If we've got options.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, from Kayshawn's point of view, like, that stuff's not going to work.
So what does he do to get out of this?
You just got to go back and play on Saturday night. You don't have any options.
Pretend it never happened?
You don't pretend it doesn't happen. You just you look back at it and see how bad it looked. And wash that out of your game.
I mean, Cortez has to have. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but you got to. I mean, I'd imagine Cortez Hankton has to call him in, being a former player, now wide receiver coach, be like, hey, Kayshawn, close the door behind you. We got to, like, this shit we can't do anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. It's a coaching moment.
It's an easy
teaching point It's an easy coaching moment.
Lock your car.
It's very much this is a moment for Kayshawn that you can spin and make positive, because this is only one of a handful of times that you've seen him do this.
Right.
The data
too much.
The data tells you that he's a big time player.
He is.
Right? Like his freshman season, he was the best freshman wide receiver in America. His sophomore season, he might have been the best player in the sport for the first 6 games of the season. His first game back, new coach, new quarterback, new scheme, little pissed off. Okay, I'll let it ride. But on Saturday night, you better give me 8 grabs, 110 yards, 2 scores. And then when Mississippi State's in town in 2 weeks, you better be one of the best players on the field. You better not have pro scouts seeing that stuff again, because now it's starting to become a habit.
Yeah.
Now people are saying, oh, this is trending with Kayshawn. You know what I mean? It would be very easy for the data to look back on it of Kayshawn's career at LSU once you get these 12 games in the book and say, there was that one night in Florida State in the Dome where he didn't handle himself right. But, I mean, look at everything else.
Do you think it's going to be like that?
I do.
You think it's like that
was
a fluke?
I mean, would $30 million make you get your head right?
Yeah, but I just don't get it. Like, why did he play that way?
Was
he
the
knows
first
how
time.
to play.
That was the first
He's
time.
just frustrated.
He's just
It's
frustrated
because
man.
he's a playmaker. He's a game changer.
Well, then make the plays.
Agreed.
But he wants some more opportunity.
But they also weren't giving him the opportunities to make bigger plays.
That's what looks bad on him, is that he's
put me above team, me
giving
above
the
we.
ball,
Yeah.
and Brian Kelly's like, we're throwing you the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, make the play.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to make that play. And I see both sides of it. Kayshawn's behavior on Sunday night was inexplicable. You can't do that.
Right.
You like, if you are who you say you are, then you can't act like that.
Right.
But I also see them taking, these little snaps and throwing the ball out to Malik Neighbors and trying to get him in space. If you're going to have that in the play calling, do it for 7.
Yeah.
Like in the first 15 plays for offenses are usually scripted. Like, it doesn't matter what the down and distance is. It doesn't matter the situation. There's 15 plays that they say, guys, we're going to stick to the list. To me, in the first 15 plays, Kayshawn should have 4 to 6 touches. Like,
or at least target, looks.
Deliberate touches. Like, give it to him on a jet sweep. Like, just do that play. Just snap it to him and throw it to him. And just let him get you 6 or 7 yards. And now he's
in it.
Now he's kind of like in the flow.
Yeah.
Now he's like, okay, they're thinking about me. They're using me early. They're respecting me, right? I mean, when you get to the level that Kayshawn's at a certain tier of a college athlete that comes, right, wrong, or indifferent. We can debate it all day, but this is just how it is. It comes with a certain it comes
a level of expectation.
Absolutely, and it comes with a certain level of respect. Right? Like, where you can't forget about me in the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to win, I got to be involved.
Yeah.
Is how Kayshawn's look, and he's right.
So he wasn't in that list of plays. Like, he wasn't involved like he should have been.
Florida State's defensive was probably their first game plan was take away 7. Like, you'd have to think of it that way in terms of what it looks like when you're Jaden Daniels, and it's like, all right, especially the way the offensive line was trying to protect. All right, first look's not there. Probably a bunch of those first looks were supposed to be to Kayshawn. He's getting bracketed. I'm going to take off and run. Kayshawn gets 2 targets in the first half, so now I'm checked out. Like, if this is the way the game's going to go.
I don't know if I want to play.
Right. And it's like, this isn't very much fun. But as a guy wearing 7, being Kayshawn, you have to hold it together.
Yeah.
Get us a win. Get out of there. Southern, you can score 5 touchdowns. Get back in the game.
But, like, I would say the same for Jack Besh. Like, it's inexplicable to me for Jack Besh to have 1 catch, 1 target.
Yeah.
Like, you're not your best. You're not your best team if that's the plan. Like, Kayshawn had 2 targets in the first half. Now, he should have caught them both, but 2 targets to Kayshawn in a half doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, yeah,
like
3 touchdowns in the first half against UCLA
because
last year.
you've got he's one of your best playmakers. Like, football is built on explosive plays. The team that makes the most explosive plays are usually going to win the game.
Right.
LSU's explosive player, they have a few of them, but the number 1 explosive player they've got on their roster is Kayshawn Boutte. So if you want to make big plays, you got to put the ball in his hand. And when teams are going to deliberately try and take him away, you've got to scheme and find ways to get it to him.
And they didn't do that.
They didn't do it early on. And when Kayshawn had his opportunity, it's both sides. Mm-hmm. Both sides on Monday morning when they watched film, both had points. Mm-hmm. Like each of them had good debate.
Yeah.
Like Kayshawn saying, I want the ball.
Yeah.
Like, give me the ball because look at what my record says when I have the ball in my hand, right? Like, I'm a change the scoreboard. So it serves you right to put the ball in my hand.
Yeah.
Well, LSU says, yeah, or the offensive staff says, yeah, Kay, we hear that, but we took shots at you early on, man, and all of that data that we've seen, you make that catch every time. You dropped it on Sunday night. And then the second one, you weren't paying attention because you were pissed off.
Right.
Like, we need your attitude to change, and we need you to make the play, right? Like, and if you're Kayshawn, you're probably thinking in your head, like, you're right. Like, I got to catch that. I got to make that catch. I got to make that play. But LSU's probably thinking too, like, we got to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Like, we got to get him the ball early on so he feels engaged.
Yeah.
So he stays in the game, and for that, it's going to make your team better because when he has the ball, he's going to make a play.
Yeah,
I mean, if you throw it to him 4 times, he's going to make one play. You know what I mean? Like, just play the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, just play. If you put it in the ball, if you put the ball in his hands enough, something good's going to happen.
Right.
So both sides have a point, and the takeaway for me is feed him, and Kayshawn, get your head right.
Yeah.
Understand what comes from this or the attention of having and being a team's marquee player. That's part of it. That teams are coming in every week and they're scheming to take you away from it. And if they take you away and out of it, this is what they expect to happen. For you to be pissed off, throwing your helmet, barking at the quarterback, all that stuff. Yeah, look, that's
attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
I saw a clip of Jaden
does.
Daniels talking to him, kind of like, bro, like, come on, like,
I need you.
I get that you're mad,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna still keep coming to you. Like, I don't care if you drop 2 balls, 3 balls, I'm gonna still keep coming to you. And Kayshawn's just like, I don't just pissed, obviously, but still, like, bro, you gotta.
He took himself out the game,
Yeah,
mentally.
He did.
And I get being frustrated, but when you're a guy, it can't happen.
Not when you're a leader.
Can't happen when you're in a game that's close and you have a chance to win. Can't happen.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Edward Jones. Get in touch with Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com for all your financial advice that you may be looking for here on this Tuesday morning, if he can help you. If he can help you out with any type of investments, any type of financial strategy that you may be thinking of, get in touch with Daniel Newman. Let him help you out. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, located out in Central, across from Stabs, as you can go out there, pick up a lunch, listen to some talk on some basketball, and get some great financial advice. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Grady asks, does LSU start Nuss on Saturday? Look, who's been driving the Nuss bus? You know what I mean? Like, I've been sitting shotgun on the Nuss bus since spring. But after watching LSU's offensive line, to me, Jaden Daniels is a quarterback on this team because of his mobility, his ability, his ability to be mobile.
He is very mobile.
And you have to be behind that offensive line because they're running for their life. The quarterback. And I'm not saying that Nussmeier can't do that. Daniels is just more comfortable in that role. Now, they're going to have to change up the way that they run him, or they're going to get him hurt. Because a quarterback in the SEC can't run between the hash marks. Bad stuff is going to happen in between the hash marks on an SEC field. It's too fast, it's too physical, it's too strong, it's just too brute, man. It's just too much force in between the hashes. And Jaden Daniels, while he's a really good athlete, he's very speedy, he's very athletic, he's shifty. It's only a matter of time on an SEC field when you run him 14 times before he gets lit up. And if you're going to run him, which I think you have to do to be effective on offense, you got to be smart about the way you run him. You got to run him towards the sidelines where he can use the out of bounds as an advantage for him. He slid a couple of times on Sunday night. You got to teach him the strategies in sliding. But, I mean, the RPO stuff, after going back and watching the game again last night, third time I watched the copy, I cannot believe that LSU did not stick to the RPO strategy that every player looked so comfortable in early on. Like, I mean...
Why did they change it? What do you mean? Why didn't they stick to the strategy?
Well, the strategy that I would debate would be the one that they started with. Mm-hmm. They evolved into a little bit of RPO, and then when they really got going is when they started running tempo. No huddle, get to the line of scrimmage, kind of keep the ball moving, right? I mean, that's the most effective way for LSU to play offense, it looks like, after one game. Mm-hmm. And in the practice that we saw on, just kind of leading up, there was a lot of RPO stuff happening.
A lot of tempo, too.
So to get there Sunday night and see this drop back, throw down the field, read, progress across your route tree type offense, I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? I mean, what's going on out here? This just doesn't play to the strength of your skill set. It doesn't help yourself out by what you're calling. And then once they kind of started to find it, they really became the second half, I thought LSU, Jaden Daniels in particular, that's where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, tempo, RPO, get the ball out of his hand, let him get back there. Don't think much, just play. I mean, okay, all right, you can win with that. Mm-hmm. You can win with that.
You're going to have to do that with the way the offensive – maybe the offensive line gets better like it did last year, where you see them kind of progress throughout the year, but the way that they look – is Florida State's D-line that good? Because I wouldn't – that's not where I would hang my hat. I would say that it was more of the LSU offensive line not being very impressive. Hopefully they can, get better as the year goes on, as Brad Davis did last year. But if that is what it's going to look like, you have to get the ball out quick. You have to go RPO. You have to be able to run the ball. Like, that is not something that was very impressive in terms of game one. Jaden Daniels, kind of, what do you account for 93% of the offense? Like, he put the team on his back. After, I ran for over 100 yards. I threw for 200 yards. I threw 2 touchdowns. We had no semblance of a running game if you're an LSU fan in terms of where's my running backs at. Like, I don't know if John Emery is going to be able to save you that much. So now it's on Denbrock to be able to – we got to scheme it up a little bit differently.
Now, the reason why I went back and watched the copy again last night is
which
because
was painful.
I read Brody Miller's piece, and we were in the game, and we left in the fourth quarter, and we were driving, and I was watching the remainder of the game on my phone as Kelly and I were driving home. So I didn't see a lot of the first half coverage, and then when I went and watched it back, I watched back the YouTube copy of highlights yesterday morning, kind of the condensed of it, and I had the volume down, and was just, they didn't have the halftime. I went back and watched the TV copy last night, and for the first time, I saw Brian Kelly's halftime interview. I was shocked. Like, I was like Katie. I mean, just
you had the same facial
show him,
expression?
Katie. Show him. I mean, I was just like, Stewie, for God's sakes, give the people what they want.
Already did it.
Open it up again.
I mean, I couldn't believe his comments.
I know.
I just,
it was shocking.
I mean,
it was shocking.
I was like, oh my God, this is very Les Miles-ish.
It was.
And I'm not, look, man, Brian Kelly is so much further advanced than Les. He's such a better football coach. That guy's forgotten more football than Les will ever know. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just, I'm here, I'm in a totally different place. I don't know what it was. I don't even want to speak to it. I don't know.
Can we play that?
But
that's a man out of his depth.
He did not
Lights were bright.
look like he was comfortable. He did not seem like he felt like it was him that should have been there. It was
weird.
It was weird.
It was weird.
It was strange.
And that's not even an SEC game.
It was Les Miles-ish.
It was
like,
that's horrible to say.
What
but
is he
it's
talking
true.
about? Where? I mean,
where are you right now,
We
Coach?
can't play any worse than that. And he said it like with this, like, kind of like
Like he was kidding.
Kind of like this grin, kind of like, and like, you're like, for real? You know, like, I mean, like, and then it's like, I don't think, and he's like, I don't think, it's my first game. Maybe we can. You're like, okay, Les, you know what I mean? Like, here's some grass. Eat this on the way to the locker room, bro. Go get right. What's going on with you, man? Like, hit him in the face, like, whoa. What, man, this is the end of the first half. Your team looks like they haven't gotten off the bus yet.
But you still have a chance to win the game.
Like, what are you doing? Like, wake up. What's going on, man? You know, like, it was just very confusing.
It was confusing.
And I got to be honest, man. Like, the Polian thing feels like a buddy. You know, it feels very much like a friend.
Cam Cameron.
It very much feels like Cam Cameron. You know, like, I mean, I'm just looking at the staff, right? And I'm like going down the list. Like, there's the one person that doesn't seem like it really fits in is the recruiting coordinator, special teams coach. And then you go watch that unit perform the other night, and it's like, yo, bro, what's up with your boy? You know what I mean? Like, what? They can't get the special teams right. I mean, they're making personnel movements. They're still missing some elementary type blocking schemes. I mean, I've talked to enough people that were in those scrimmages that saw Malik Neighbors putting the ball on the carpet. You know, like, that wasn't that big of a surprise on Sunday. It couldn't have been that big of a shock to see him put the ball on the ground on Sunday, because he's done it in training camp. So, you know, I mean, like, I don't know, man, that reading Brody Miller's Athletic article about Brian Kelly, and the title of it, wherever LSU's Brian Kelly era ends up, it started with sloppy, absurd loss. And going back and just like watching that interview and really being so overly impressed with the way that he ran fall camp, from the efficiency of practice to his clear communication tactics to the way that his team and his coaching staff really felt like, you know, when they talked, everybody knew the plan. Everybody was clearly pointed in the right direction. Again, this is one game. Don't let me, you know, I mean, I'm not blow the whole thing up by any means, but it was just very outlying from what you had seen for the last month and a half in training camp, right? Of, you know, very pointed communication, very detailed on what he wanted, very meticulous on all the things that were going on in practice. There was no wasted seconds in practice. Nobody was standing around. All of his guys were coaching. Everything was moving with a purpose. And then Sunday night, it's my first game. Maybe we can play worse than this. Like, yo, coach, you're in the game. You know what I mean? Like, the game is starting. You only got a half left, and your team doesn't look like they got off the bus. You know? And I mean, like, I'm looking at Brian Polian bounce around, jump around in front of the kickoff team, jump around in front of the field goal team, and like his unit, that was. Man, from a coaching standpoint, I'd imagine he hadn't slept yet, because that's the type of stuff that'll just keep you up at night. Mm-hmm. Muff punts, block field goals, block PATs, personal fouls on kickoff team. I mean, just everything that could go wrong in that aspect of the game
did go wrong,
and glaringly,
especially from someone who touts
wrong.
Being so disciplined.
Right.
And is disciplining everyone else.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That was the most undisciplined game ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was very outlying.
Shout out to Matt House. 2 drop punts, no points off of him.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, we talked about that yesterday. You know, I mean, that's not going to happen when you turn the ball over inside of your own 20 on special teams. You're usually going to give up a field goal. Luckily for Florida State, they couldn't get out of their own way before half, called this 4th down call, which was just, I mean, like Madden. It was like they were playing Madden.
Throwing a corner out to a 5'9" receiver.
Sure, throw it. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
I was watching it with Susan. They're about to go for it. What are they doing? I was like, oh, LSU gets away with one. Then you still have your head coach go, maybe we could play worse. Like, let's get in the locker room here and maybe come up with a game plan for the second half, because you're still in the game, coach. You're still in it.
Yeah.
And you're going, maybe we can play worse. Maybe we can win.
Yeah,
maybe that's what you should be thinking.
Maybe you should call your OC out of the box and tell him.
Wake him up.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm done napping.
Man, the Florida State fan base is
Another buddy
alive on social media, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're going, look, Jake Adler. So you're eating your words now, buddy. You were confident LSU would win. Go Noles! I hear you, Jake.
5'11" receiver.
Well,
he still didn't catch the ball.
LSU would win.
I hear
Most
you.
people were
Jake, pull
confident
up.
I hear
LSU
you,
would
man.
win.
Yeah, I was pretty confident.
But don't you?
Still beat y'all. Yeah, Jake.
Oh,
I got you,
Jake,
buddy.
how'd you play? How many catches? How many yards?
Jake, come back at the end of the season. I'm willing to bet you that LSU is ranked higher at the end of the year than Florida State is.
Enjoy 6-6, Jake.
I mean, like, I will. Let's make that bet, Jake. Let's put it down.
Have a take. Don't
come
suck.
back to New Orleans. I'll buy you a dinner at Emerald. You pick the restaurant. If LSU finishes with a better schedule, with a better outcome than Florida State, or ranked higher, I don't know. Take me out to eat in Orlando on the return trip next year. But Florida State's bad. LSU was worse on Sunday. Like, I'm not making
two bad
excuses.
teams.
That was just two bad football teams going at each other.
He just said enjoy the rebuilding years.
We will.
Florida State's been rebuilding for like 7 years,
Yeah,
bro.
right.
Like,
17 years.
It has been
since
like
Jimbo left.
But
Grady says I wouldn't make that bet. I mean, why? Why? I mean, you were sold on Florida State. You think Florida State's going to go make a run at this thing? Look, I'm not saying LSU's going to finish in the top 25. One might be 35. The other might be 37. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just telling you, that's two bad teams. And if Jake and the rest of the crew over in Tallahassee are feeling good about themselves on Sunday night, I get it. You finally beat a name recognition. You finally beat a brand and a program with a name on the helmet. But, I mean, you catching LSU now, okay. Congratulations.
I love how many Florida State fans are
Me
in
too.
this chat, too.
Me too.
I mean, they came ready today.
Me too. You ought to see my Twitter mentions.
I'm sure. LSU, I was trying to explain this to David, because right when we turned the TV on, like, everyone is railing on LSU. Like, everyone across the country is happy about this. Not everyone, but you know what I mean.
The
A lot of
ESPN
people are
folks,
like, y'all deserve this. Like, people are so angry. David was, like, so down. And I was like, LSU expects greatness. We all expect greatness out of LSU every single year. We expect them to be champions. And that's why this is so hard. That's why this is such a hard fall. This isn't Mississippi State. This isn't Ole Miss. This is LSU. Like, it's different. So a loss like that is just so crushing because you expect so much more. You don't expect that out of Florida State. You expected it out of LSU.
Well, I get that. And I still think there has to be not a grace period, but you still have to understand that a lot of what Brian Kelly was cleaning out was done in the offseason of the program, but you still have to clean the stuff up on the field.
There is a grace period. You have an entire new coaching staff. Like, who wins besides Billy Napier? Who wins typically their opener as a new head coach? Like, who really goes in and blows it out?
Well, I think Brian Kelly would much rather have played Southern last week.
Right.
And played Florida State this week.
Right.
He looked like he didn't know what to expect how LSU was going to play.
Who?
Like Brian Kelly, he looked like he wasn't sure what LSU was going to look like when they lined up against Florida State. Like, I'm sure he would have liked what do you call it? Like a cupcake game? Like a warm up.
Yeah, right. Just
like
to get
Florida
through
State.
it.
Because, like, when you see him at the halftime thing, he's like, I mean, I guess this is the worst we could play. I'm not really sure.
Jeez.
Like, you don't know your own team?
Pretty much.
Hit that like button, hit that share button. Grady says, sorry, I love LSU, but I see what I see, and FSU will end the year higher ranked than LSU. Get some, Grady. Jump in on the bet, man. Get some.
Did you watch Clemson last night?
I mean,
Clemson's going to beat Florida State by 4.
I'm not saying that LSU is going to be ranked in the top 25. I'm just saying that, look, I wasn't impressed with LSU, and I wasn't impressed with Florida State. You know what I mean? Like, both of them at this point, one team had to win. In the battle of bad, Florida State won. Yeah. And they did everything in their power to try and give it to LSU. I mean, it was as if Les Miles took the headset when they got to the goal line and they run toss dive On the goal, I mean, I think that's like football 101. Don't let the ball leave your quarterback's hand. Go put it in the running back's gut or throw it down the field. Don't pitch it backwards on the goal line.
These people are delusional. This dude just said they were going to beat Clemson.
Sweet.
Did you watch Clemson's defense
let me get that bet. That's the bet I want.
Ugh.
I couldn't make it all night for the Clemson game.
They might not even beat Georgia Tech the way they played Sunday.
I just look, man, and look, and LSU probably couldn't either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling you. Yeah, people, I was wrong on the defensive line.
Yeah,
like if I could start anywhere, the defensive line for LSU I thought was going to push the offensive line for Florida State around, and that's what really my mentions are just blowing up on Twitter. Is thought you said the offensive line was fat and unathletic. I hate to tell you, they still are. You know what I mean? I thought that LSU was going to be able to push those guys around, and it was very concerning that they couldn't.
Oh,
you know, like I just thought that, you know, Jaquelin Roy and Maason Smith, for when he was in there, were going to have his way. And, you know, I mean, it never happened. I was completely and totally wrong about LSU shoving Florida State around. What I wasn't wrong about, and which is more discouraging about than being off on the first projection, is that Florida State's offensive line's terrible. You know, I mean, like, it is a bunch of overweight, frumpy, fat, unathletic dudes out there that just were able to shove around the guys that looked like were projected first-round picks. I mean, that was the most concerning part. But, I mean, if I'm looking at Clemson last night and I'm looking at Florida State on Sunday, Clemson's going to abuse Florida State up front.
Yes.
You know, I mean, but I said the same thing about LSU. Maybe the pudgy punch, the pudgy punch from Florida State can get it together like they did the other night. You know, I mean, look, I hate to piss y'all off, but I mean, it's true. There's no way y'all are looking at y'all's offensive line in Tallahassee and saying that guy's a pro. You know what I mean? I don't see one guy that's going to be all ACC. I thought all four from LSU's defensive line were going to be first rounders. I was wrong. I was wrong. You know, I mean, or at least after.
And you lost your only first rounder.
After Sunday night's evaluation, I was wrong. I mean, B.J. Ojulari still looked great.
He looked good. But if you're LSU, like, this year doesn't really – I know you want to win every season. It's a 3-year plan. It's a 10-year plan, with Brian Kelly's contract. So you really can't look too much. It's a rebuilding year. That's what it is. I know nobody wants to hear that, an LSU fan. So that's why you can't be – do you feel better or worse after the Florida State loss or the UCLA loss last year?
I feel worse.
You feel worse after
just
this
the way
loss?
the game went. You know, like
that's not what you expected to see.
The lack of execution, like
but still,
the
it's
third and longs on defense.
Staff.
We can't get off the field. We can't make a tackle. Like it's just little things.
Muff punt.
Little things that come to play later in the season.
That's how you everything that LSU did poorly is how you lose football games.
Right.
And that's what you thought as an LSU fan you would see cleaned up, and it wasn't the case.
I just don't think it's time yet. I just think it needs more time.
A few more weeks. Yeah. A couple more weeks.
I don't know, man. There's some things about LSU that I don't know if you can get right.
Fix, yeah.
You know, like, I don't know if you're going to be able to.
What do you mean, like ever? You have to.
Just this year.
This year.
No. Just this year. I don't know if you're going to be able to fix the offensive line problems. I mean, there's still going to be growing pains with Garrett Dellinger at center. There's still going to be growing pains with Will Campbell at left tackle. There's still going to be growing pains with the right side of the line of scrimmage. You saw that. I mean, Cam Wire was shoved around the other night. They made a move. They pulled Bradford out. They put Trayvon Shorts in. They're still trying to find the way. I think at some point you'll probably see Emory Jones. You know what I mean? I thought they were too. I thought they were too. I was like, you got nothing to lose. I mean, throw him out there. See what happens. So did I. I thought for sure that he was going to play on Sunday. So, you know, I mean, it's that offensive line. If you can't get that right, you can't win. It's just in football, if you cannot block and you can't protect, it does not matter what level you're at. You're just not going to be able to be impactful. I mean,
it'll get better though.
Yeah, it will.
No, they will improve, but they have to improve to a point where they can block SEC elite defensive linemen. And if I'm judging on what I saw on Sunday night, that's a long road to get there. They can get there. Will Campbell's going to be a dominant offensive lineman in college football at some point. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whenever that happens, it's not going to be surprising. It might happen this year. Probably going to happen next year. But he's going to have to go through some growing pains to get there.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that. Garrett Dellinger playing center for the first time in his life, you're going to see snaps inside the red zone sometimes get rolled back to the quarterback. Why? Because it's the first time he's ever done it in his life.
Why is everyone so critical of that when they know this is the first time he's ever done it in his life?
Because nobody cares about that.
Yeah. It's so
you know what I mean?
And that
Nobody
kills
cares
me.
that they're paying their ticket prices and their tradition fund and their parking passes, and they expect Brian Kelly to have the guy snapping the ball to the quarterback.
Well,
that's
they
cool.
You know what I
do.
mean? But they don't know, or they do know, but they just don't understand that it's the first time the guy's ever done it in his life.
Right.
He's 19 years old. His whole life he's played guard or tackle. Now you're asking him to play center at an SEC college level for the first time, and he's never done it. So at some point, it's going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
It's going to get you. You know what I mean? It's gonna creep up, and it's gonna get you at the time where it sucks the most.
Right.
Like the other night, what was that, third down? You know, in the red zone with a scoring opportunity, snap gets rolled to him. You know, it's just like
Second down.
Was it second down? And it put him third and long.
Which is worse.
It put him back in third and long. So, and how they made that field goal, watching the TV copy,
fucking boomed it,
is a miracle because they had a guy
the same dude got through.
Same dude
They got through
is
3
back
times
through, and LSU's on roller skates on the line.
Why is that hard?
That is so simple
That's
to
a
do.
simple step inside, arm out.
When you get your legs interlocked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the general rule of thumb is that there is no way inside penetration is going to beat us on field goal. You know what I mean? Like, no way you can get beat to the inside on field goal protection. And if you're the outside guy, I was the outside guy at Parkview my junior year. I remember step down and shove out. Step down, shove out.
Did we all three
make
do
sure
this?
you step down.
Yes,
Make sure you step down.
Step down, arm out.
Yes.
I mean,
This
just
is-
step down,
There we go.
protect, arm out.
You don't
know what
even
I mean?
think
And
about
even if
it.
you miss, it's okay.
It's not a big deal.
It's getting
The
wide
outside
enough
guy, just
outside
make him
so he
run
can't
around your
care.
arm.
Just make him run around.
I never thought less than when I was outside on field goal protect.
But don't get beat here. You know what I mean? Like, that was like blocking like a kindergartner's basketball shot for that kid. You know what I mean? Like, you stepped there and like, boom. It's like, get this shit out of here, man.
Game.
It's like the ball didn't even get off the ground.
You're bringing that shit up in here?
That's that first field goal.
Christian Crochet, wasn't Maason Taylor on that side? He was. Maason Taylor was on that side, but he was moved there because they made a personnel change to get Maason Taylor there. They pulled the guy that screwed it up in the first half. I think it was Cole Taylor.
Oh, God.
I don't want to. It might not have been, so I don't want to say his name.
I think they were on both sides.
I don't want to say his name, but they pulled the left outside guy to put Maason Taylor in because the same thing happened in the first half. Hey, people, that's coaching. That's coaching. I'm not putting that on Maason Taylor. Maason Taylor's a true freshman that was playing high school football 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, this two people made the same mistake. That's not a coincidence. Somebody's telling them to do something that ain't working. You know, like, I mean, we agree there, right? Like, I mean, it's not on the two players that screwed it up. They both made the same mistake. So the coach has got to say, hey, man, don't step outside. Make sure and get that guy to the middle. Don't let him in. And in the biggest kick of the night, I mean, the guy just steps over the line and just bats the ball down.
Could have caught the snap.
I mean, it just...
If it was you, would you have gone for 2?
That's
Yes.
what I was going to ask.
Absolutely. I'd have gone for
Y'all
2
would have?
because you had no business winning the game.
Steal
and
it.
you might as well steal one here and get repaid by the football gods down the line because that's going to happen, right? Does anybody remember what happened the weekend after the Bluegrass Miracle? LSU got run off the field by Alabama, 33-0. When Marcus Randall hit Devery Henderson and they snuck away out of Kentucky with a win that they should not have won. They shouldn't have won the game. On the last play of the game, that's fine. The football gods will let you celebrate and jump all around in Commonwealth Stadium and pile up and everybody. And even Saban in the postgame interview, if you go back and watch it, we had no business winning. He's pissed off as they're interviewing him. And the next week, the football gods come back and say, all right, we gave you one. right here. Now we're going to really give it to you.
We need that
33-0 Alabama. Dennis Franchione. Remember that guy? Dennis Franchione came in here and beat LSU. 33-0. The only play of the night, Brady James ran like a fake punch straight up the middle.
When was that? What year?
2002. Right? So, I mean, the football guy's going to get you. So go steal that one on Sunday night. And you're also got to be thinking, I mean, Polian's ass had to be about this tight when it came down to a kick.
Oh.
Kelly's probably looking over at him. He's probably pale-faced, like putting his hat down, like, Coach, go for 2. You know what I mean? Like, don't put it on my group.
But what
Put
if you
Jaden back out
for
there.
2 and then missed it?
Okay.
Then what?
Yeah,
Cool.
It's game over.
Game's over.
Cool.
But then what would everybody still would have melted down?
No.
It wouldn't have been
No?
worse than this.
I would have felt better.
Everyone
If you
would've
miss
melted.
a 2-point conversion, rather than getting a PAT blocked,
Yeah.
you'll
Well.
take the missed 2-point 10
Every
out of 10
time.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
But still.
I would have
melt.
putting the ball in Jaden Daniels' hands one more time
Yeah.
than putting the ball in the kicker's foot one more time.
In
And
hindsight.
putting it in Polian's hands.
Yeah. Because,
Yes, in
I mean,
hindsight.
99 yards. Jaden
Brian
Daniels
Burgess,
looked
I would have went for the tie and sent it into OT.
Every time.
But I can also see the logic in going for 2. If you go for the tie,
How's that Fitz feel?
What's going to change?
Still got to play overtime.
You've just gotten your ass kicked for 4 quarters. Win this thing and get out of here. Don't put it on your kicker, who at that point you got to be looking at you got to be looking at the picture, saying we can't block this thing. You know what I mean? Like we got no chance to block this thing.
If there's a chance that you think the extra point is going to get blocked, go for 2. And there was probably a 50% chance when they got that. I was like, I don't feel too good about this because I didn't feel too good about this.
Brian Burgess, no one knew that LSU was going to miss the PAT. Did you see the field goal they kicked 2 quarters before that? They had to have an idea that, hey, we're not prepared on field goal and extra point.
Yeah.
They got way too much penetration coming through. Like they're getting to us. Nobody's making the adjustments. Win that thing. Yeah, look, I get it. Hindsight's 20/20, but in the moment, I'm screaming at the TV, go for 2. Go for 2. Win this thing, man. You got no business being here. You just went 99 yards in 25 seconds.
The football god is in the
Oh
chat.
my God!
He said,
Don't bring
Jordy.
me into this.
I'm sorry, football god, but you're always lurking.
That's hilarious.
Bring me into
Who
this.
created that real quick?
That's
Oh my
awesome.
God, I gotta be
Yeah.
football god. Hang on.
What if
love
he's
it.
in every chat? He's everywhere.
Hit that like button,
Amazing.
share button, comment
That's what
button.
they call omniscient.
I hope that these Florida State fans in our chat call tomorrow during our voicemail mailbag.
Me too.
Oh God,
You know
y'all
what I'm
please
gonna
hang
tell
on
them?
till tomorrow so we can talk to
You know
y'all
what
in
I'm going to
person.
tell them? Just like I told the girls that were sitting by me. Fuck Florida State. And fuck
Stewie.
that Seminole and all of that other shit that y'all got going on.
Y'all, was that not
$7.59, Stu.
burned
Pay the-
into your-
pay the
burned
fine.
into my brain?
Oh my God. It was so
Hey, that place was rocking.
Hey,
was
bro.
rocking.
It was. They were loud.
And let me tell
They
you,
were
that is
loud.
a great branding.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because when it
How come
feels
they
like
can still do that?
you hear
I know,
that,
I wonder that too.
I know.
They're appropriating.
Like, how
It
do they
is
get
not
away with
politically
I think they
correct. I
struck
don't
a deal
know.
with the they actually talked to the
yeah,
tribe,
tribes.
and they're like, "We're cool with it." Yeah, they talked.
I mean, the
little
leader,
firewater
the
and
leader of the band is a Native American dressed like a Native
Yeah.
American. I'm like looking at this, being like, has anybody told Florida State that it's 2022?
Did you see?
You know what I mean?
Did you
Like-
see the guy walking around Lucy's a white man, full regalia,
White man.
headdress, face painted? I was like, bro, you
Right.
shouldn't be
You're
doing that.
about to get canceled, cuz.
Yeah. I mean, nobody
Like-
in New Orleans cares, but if you were on like, I don't know, the news, they'd be like, look at
The news.
look at Bob.
Did y'all think the horse was going to come out? Did y'all think they were going to ride the horse out there on the field?
I
The
wish.
best part of the night was as soon as Florida State wins the game, you know what they go into with the band?
Neck.
Nick.
I
No,
know.
the first touchdown they went next.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was like, I
almost
love
every
Florida
tou-
State.
every
I know.
touchdown
that
they
was,
went
that was
It
a
was
great
good.
troll job.
It was good.
It was great.
LSU, well, it's not even ours anymore. LSU can't play it. Southern's going to play it whenever they come to
Everybody's gonna
LSU.
play
It's
it.
not LSU's anymore.
I mean, I think the best part
Football
was,
god, I'm too busy dealing with Scott Frost right now. I can't deal with LSU. I get
So
it. I
LSU
get it.
can't
I
say
get it.
"suck that tiger dick, bitch," but you can go. Oh,
You really waited for 8 on the dot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did
That's
too.
right.
Almost had a heart attack at the games Sunday.
Me too.
Also,
We all did.
no, like my watch was literally telling me like your heart rate is
Chill out,
Live.
Stu.
yeah. But I was just, I mean, we're sitting
Right there.
Right there.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, shout out to Katie and David.
You're welcome.
Right there, as Jeray Jenkins scores the touchdown, and I was just, at first I was just silent. I was just chilling.
I know.
And
I thought about you.
He scored, and I was like, let's go!
I thought about
And
you.
then
Brian Polian's turn
field
came
goal.
up.
everybody around us, I don't think LSU's going to make this. Everybody had that weird feeling.
That's why I was screaming.
Me
go for
too.
two.
I was like,
I mean, like, I was thinking to myself, they're not going to make this.
Yeah, there's
Like,
no way. It's no
and
shot.
if you have that feeling, like, imagine what Brandon Polian felt like, whatever he was like. He probably felt worse than we. Like, I don't want to do this either.
Derek Polian.
Brandon Poland.
Hey,
Brian
Derek.
Panansky.
I don't know
Hey,
his
Derek, what
fucking
do you want to
name.
do?
Brian, Bill, Brandon, I don't care. Get out my game. God damn it.
Hey, what do you want to do?
Not kick it.
Go for two.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Special teams coach says go for two.
Flip it over his
He wants
head.
to go for two.
He's hiding in the locker room right now. He said catch him after the game.
Kicker goes around the field and grabs him by the horse collar. He's like, we good. Go for it.
That's so good. West Shin carpool line. Post drop off, pre drop off. Sorry if it's pre.
Or during.
A guy at Lucy's told me that if his kid curses at school, it's my fault. So, hey, sorry, guys.
Pay the fine, kid.
Yeah.
At least let your teacher know. Hey, teach, this is from Stewie. Fuck you.
I did say it. And he said fuck school, too.
8:15, we're going to talk to Jake Crain from Crain & Company. We'll be right back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. If you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscription button. Make sure you like, share, comment. We appreciate you being here on this Tuesday morning. We'll be back with you here at the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
I watched Howard Stern when I was 10, and I turned out fine.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southerneyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was in Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, he lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
But this opportunity was different. You have a chance to come to a place with unbelievable tradition, work for the winningest head coach in college football. Just be at a state. I've never been at a state where football's king, and if you just dominate your state, you're going to get some of the best players that there are.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think, getting through spring, I mean, most of it was obviously just installing the offense. And I think all 4 guys really made some strides in terms of that and showed a lot of positives, obviously, which, you guys get to talk about all the time. So you guys,
Sure.
Yeah. But all 4 have done a great job. They did. I think they really did a really nice job in spring of taking strides forward individually, and everybody's different in terms of what they need to get better at and what they need to show, and then move it into summer. And I love the way they're working right now in the weight room for Coach Flint. But like I said, I think spring a lot was. It was everything was new for everybody. So especially at the beginning, there wasn't as much evaluation, say the first few days, get into the flow, and then I think we got some good opportunities for some guys to get some reps, and I think everybody showed some positives.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to
All right, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Appreciate you being here on this Tuesday morning. We're going to talk to Jake Crain from Crain and Company coming up here in a couple of minutes. We'll talk to Jake about the college football weekend. Outside of LSU and Florida State on Sunday night, what other games jumped out to him? We'll ask him about this week's matchups, including Texas hosting Alabama Saturday morning, 11 a.m.
What's the spread on that? It's something absurd.
I mean, that is so Big 12.
I know.
Like,
is Gus Johnson going to be all coked up on the broadcast for 11 a.m.?
Absolutely, if he's on the mic.
Where is it? Is it
it's in Austin.
It's in Austin.
It's in Austin.
Gus Johnson probably wakes people up in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, who's screaming on my television?
I love it.
Me too.
I love it too, but what's wrong with it?
Well, you got to bring it. You got to bring the juice
Passion.
coach.
What do you mean what's wrong with it?
It's like
It's passionate, Stewie.
What drugs is he on?
Look,
What's wrong with you?
I'm speaking as a person who, if I wouldn't watch college football and didn't know Gus Johnson, and just be like,
Oh.
what is wrong with him?
I think Gus Johnson needs to be like the guy. Like, I mean, he would be the, like, I could not believe he didn't get more run after everybody was throwing money at these play-by-play and these color commentators in the offseason for, like, Amazon and ESPN and, like, all of these, you know,
I think it's because he's so divisive. People either love him or hate him. Some people can't.
To who, bro?
To the people.
People.
People don't like him. Some people are like, I don't want to watch football like this.
Really?
Yeah, some people don't like. I'll put it on the poll.
Yes, put it on the poll.
Right
if
now
you
I
do
have-
not like Gus Johnson, show yourself. Put your name inside the chat and tell me why. How in the hell can't you watch a Gus Johnson game, bro? Oh my God!
80
Alabama scores again!
Touchdown!
Oh! I mean, it's like he's getting held up, bro. It's unreal.
How much money does he have on the over?
Just like-
Every touchdown is like,
Go,
I'm
baby!
gonna come.
I mean, like he's gambling.
No doubt.
Go, baby! Go, baby! Touchdown! Horns! I mean, just like, yeah! We covered! We covered!
Imagine being the play-by-play guy.
Call the guy! Call the guy!
Imagine being in the booth with them. You're just like, Gus, what?
just
Or,
like, yeah, right.
Pipe it down.
okay, I get it.
Holy
shit.
Gus.
I feel scared.
Unreal.
And then you have horny Brent Musburger. Who would you rather?
Gus all day.
I mean, would you look at that woman?
Look at how many people are going to enroll in Florida State.
Jesus, Brent, we're live, for God's sakes.
God, Brent.
Your microphone is on.
And you're on camera. Your pants are wet.
Who was the color guy in the national championship with AJ McCarron when he was talking about his girl?
That was Brent.
I know. Who
Was
was
it-
the, who
Oh, I don't know who was
the
with.
guy next to him was just like, oh my God.
So
You're horny online right now. You're horny.
Brent, we're on.
Oh, we're on.
Good God.
Brent, go
Dial
back
it back a couple of
Brent's
notches.
like, Brent's like the game's going on. Brent's like, go back to the crowd. Hold on. Keep
was.
scanning. Yeah.
Keep your eyes on.
Good for you,
on
AJ
Crain
McCarron.
here. Yeah, right.
Thank you.
AJ McCarron not only succeeding on the football
The field, but
as
off
we
it.
see. Like, good Lord.
Oh my God.
But I can't believe Gus didn't make more money, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I think I put it on the poll.
How nobody went after him on Amazon. Oh my God! Keep your eyes out for Jake Crain. We're going to talk to Jake Crain from Crain and Company here in a couple of seconds to talk to him about the college football weekend. Huge games coming up in weekend number 2. Is this week 2? Is this week 2?
Yeah, it's week 2.
Everything throws me off at the week 0.
LSU needs a bye week.
We need to start doing week zeros.
I mean, it's kind of. After seeing what you saw this weekend from Georgia and Alabama, and maybe, I'll just keep it to
And
those
everybody
two.
else?
Yeah, I'll keep it to those two because Ohio State Notre Dame was not fun to watch either. But I mean, if you're an LSU fan, you saw what that looked like and what LSU looked like. It's cooked. You're good. Like, let's just try to win 7 games. There's no expectation really for anything other than make a bowl game, right? Like, you just want to see them get better every week and be like, okay, I'm seeing the plan starting to come together.
Yeah.
There's no expectation.
Any real expectation for LSU to be a contender this year, I think you were setting yourself up for a huge letdown. But
delusional.
Jordy just woke up my son.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm dropping him off over here. We'll babysit.
It was loud.
Yeah, I got him.
120 an hour.
We'll teach you.
Let's go up to Jake Crain, who
Where
our
is he?
guy, Crain and Company. Looks like he is on his way to the vet yet again here, as he is in the car joining us.
Oh, the hair. Immaculate.
The fucking hair looks
nice,
fantastic. Good God, who knew?
Who knew?
As
He
we
usually
check
wears a
in
hat.
with Crain and Company. Good morning, buddy. How you feeling?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I just hopped off the set. We have our fantasy draft with Shapir on them coming up here soon. So we had to run out of the studio, hopping in the car. But yeah, I know it's tough kind of down there in Baton Rouge right now. That was a tough one.
Crain,
what's the punishment for your fantasy league?
I never knew you had the TV broadcasting hair. That hair is perfect.
Like
the
Elvis
baby
hair.
blues are blinging right now.
I know, right?
Strong eyebrows, all of it.
Dude.
Yeah, listen, let's just keep talking about this. I love how this is going.
We love it.
LSU. What
TV
did you?
money will change
what
you.
did you? I thought that was a battle of bad on Sunday night between Florida State and LSU. What did you take away from that game?
Well, to quote Elvis, Elvis was, all shook up. I was surprised that, not that LSU, didn't have the best personnel up front. I don't think everybody was shocked by that. I think Will Campbell's going to be special. Was kind of surprised at Cam Wire in pass protection, but you knew where LSU's deficiencies were. My problem was they made mistakes that were controllable. It's one thing if you don't have the personnel and it comes down to physics and science and gravity or whatever you want to call it. But LSU, whether it was fumbling punts, whether it was penalties, whether it was, block not assigned to the right guy in the run block scheme and in pass protection, I just felt like they made some mistakes that they shouldn't have made or that surprised me. Because I tweeted out before the game, I was like, outside of the obvious, execution of the play call, the style of play call, the overall scheme, how good the personnel is, I wanted to see how organized LSU was, how well they tackled in space, things like that. That's what kind of disappointed me, but I don't think LSU fans should panic. Not that you shouldn't have expectations this year, but Brian Kelly, it's like fixing an economy. You don't snap your fingers and all of a sudden it's fixed. Now with the transfer portal, it goes a little faster. I mean, the saying was you have 3 cycles of recruits to come in to be able to change it, and that's when you change the culture and develop the guys and stuff like that. But it's going to take some time with Brian Kelly. I was just surprised that they didn't control the controllables better.
What'd you see from Florida State, year 3 for Mike Norvell?
I thought Jordan Travis played the game of his life. From a throwing standpoint, he's made some improvement, but a lot of the throws were easy and intermediate throws. Yeah. Now, the touchdown he had to Pokey Wilson was a great play when Ali Gay did one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I understand being frustrated, but your team really, yeah, he did, but, you cost the team. And at the end of the day, it's not a smart play. That's not a winning play. That's a selfish play. Yeah, it may look cool on Instagram the next day, and people may say ooh and ah, but the point is to win and put your team in the best position to win. I thought it was a selfish play, but I thought Florida State's okay. I was surprised really that LSU and look, man, Maason Smith getting hurt celebrating. Goodness gracious, man. I mean, you tear your ACL. Jumping up and down like that was huge. Obviously, losing him is going to be huge going forward. Man, I thought Florida State played about as good as they could. I thought Jordan Travis played about as good as he could. But I felt like LSU really lost the game. It wasn't like Florida State just outright won it.
Have you seen special teams that cost a team like that in week 1 like it cost LSU? Can you recall special teams?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was a special teams coordinator at Division I level. I mean, watching that happen just makes my stomach cringe in ways I can't even explain to you guys. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. Getting that short field goal blocked because the assignment was wrong. You had one guy blocking out and one guy blocking inside. That should never happen. You dropped 2 punts. I understand you dropping 1, but you gave Florida State the game on special teams. Let's not make any bones about it. Get it twisted. You handed them the game on a silver platter in special teams, and it should have been worse. I can't believe you called a pitch on the goal line in that situation.
Les Miles, baby.
Never called pitches. Yeah, I mean, look, it made Les Miles look like Neil deGrasse Tyson. That call, but, it just, man, I was shocked that LSU was as unorganized as they were and made the mistakes that they did because they're not good enough. Depth-wise, personnel-wise, in the grand scheme of things, to make that many mistakes and to be able to survive even against a meddling Florida State team who hadn't had a winning regular season since 2016.
It's the best thing you saw over the weekend.
Myself in the mirror.
Man, I thought it was cool to see James Madison beat up on Middle Tennessee for their first FBS win, but I talked about this on the show this morning. This might have been the best week 1 ever in college football, just on the range of results, on the spectrum of results. It wasn't like it was just super upset heavy or it was just chalk. You had upsets, you had beatdowns, you had disappointments, you had teams exceed expectations from these full spectrum of results from one end to the other. I think this was the greatest week 1 that I've seen. And all the stuff, we'll quabble about off the field stuff, playoff expansion, NIL, the transfer portal. But man, the on-field game's as good as it's ever been. The schemes are as good as it's ever been. And outside of Alabama and Georgia, which, by the way, is just takes violent to a whole new level. I mean, those games should be rated NC-17 with the way they're running around hitting people. But, man, the on-the-field game's as healthy as it's ever been.
Georgia, let's stay there. How impressive were the defending champs?
I think they're better than they were last year because they're more balanced. I would much rather play the Georgia from last year with one super elite side of the ball and another side of the ball that they just got to be good enough than to play a team with 2 elite sides of the ball. I think Bama's better than they were last year. I mean, I think Bama and Georgia are as balanced and as talented as they've ever been. And look, Ohio State better figure it out on offense. I know they're good on defense, and Cade Klubnik needs to be the guy at Clemson for them to have a shot. But right now, it's Alabama, Georgia, and everybody else is just eating popcorn watching.
Can Texas keep up with Alabama on Saturday?
No, not even close. They're gonna get. I like what Sark's doing. Okay, I get the thing about the band, the $1 million band not coming, but it doesn't matter if they were playing in Sark's backyard with Sark's relatives as the officials, and it's not gonna matter. Alabama is going to go to Austin, and it's going to be ugly. I got it at 18.5, and I'm trying to convince my fiance to put the rent on 20 right now because it's going to be the ass beating of a lifetime.
Tennessee-Pittsburgh, to me, is a good matchup on Saturday. This one will be in Pittsburgh. What do you think about this matchup?
We're going to find out more about Tennessee. You can really find out a lot about them with Ball State. They kept it pretty vanilla. I love Brew McCoy on the other side of Tillman. Again, defensively, how deep is Tennessee going to be operating at that pace? Are they going to slow down any at all early in the game? Pittsburgh with Keaton Slovis, who's a little bit of the deer in the headlights. We'll see with them offensively. They're really good up front. Should be a hell of a game. There's some sneaky good games, man. Kansas State, Missouri is going to be interesting. You already mentioned Pittsburgh and Tennessee. Mississippi State and Arizona, now that Arizona looks like they can walk and chew gum at the same time with what Jed Fish has done out there. So week 2 should be a lot of fun.
Florida, Napier, over the weekend. Huge opening weekend win and opening debut win for him in Gainesville. How does he bounce back? This is a huge spot with Kentucky in week 2. Or tell me, first, what did you make of the win?
It was a huge win. It's a program-changing win for Billy while he's there. You talk about getting started off on the right foot. But Anthony Richardson's incredible. I said this morning I would not be surprised if at the end of the season Anthony Richardson's the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. I think he's that good. I think he's a natural thrower of the ball. Now, we've got to see more, but the way he can move at that size, the way he's not just a one-pitch guy, the way he was actually going through reads should scare the hell out of every team that plays him because he's good enough to keep them in games they shouldn't be in, and the rest of the team just has to be okay. I think they're going to walk the dog on Kentucky this weekend. Wow. I love Florida minus 4.5 right now. I think they're scary as hell, and Anthony Richardson got a little Vince Young in him.
You a believer in Clemson after last night? Seeing them last night?
If Cade Klubnik's the quarterback, I don't believe in DJ. It still looks slow for him, and they kept it very simple. I mean, all slants. You saw smash a little bit. There wasn't a ton of concepts that you're going to have to be able to run, and the timing's going to have to be there if you do play against a Bama or you do play against a Georgia or an Ohio State. I thought Cade Klubnik came in. I know it was late in the game. Georgia Tech wasn't as gassed up as they were earlier, but I think Clemson has a lot better chance if Cade Klubnik's the quarterback, and I would not be shocked if because they'll be fine against Furman. Week 3, they shouldn't have a problem. I think they got La Tech at home. But don't be shocked week 4 if you don't see Cade Klubnik come in after GJU struggles and never comes out again.
You talked a little bit schematically, going back to LSU. What did you see on Mike Denbrock's offense and what LSU tried to do on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think they were having trouble protecting. I think Denbrock tried to stay balanced. I know he didn't want Jaden just tucking it down and running it every time, but they weren't getting movement in the run game, really. The run game wasn't solid enough, consistently enough, to be able to use a nice play-action game, to be able to really hurt him with an intermediate passing game or use boots or be able to do things to move Jaden outside of the pocket. So it turned a lot into one read and Jaden create, or, hey, we're going to run this slant. If it's there, hit him early. If it's not, take off and run. And that's why you never saw LSU get into a rhythm outside of when they went tempo. Why? Because when they went tempo, they were able to have success running the ball, and that opened it up for what he was trying to do in the passing game. So I didn't see a lot of balance. It wasn't about the play calls. It was about the lack of being able to move people on the offensive line. I think if you're LSU with the personnel you have, you've got to really lean heavy into the zone run game and the outside perimeter zone run game. That's what's going to open you up to be able to hit the play action and use those guys down the field. So right now it's not as much about the play calling as it is about the balance and being able to keep teams guessing and be unpredictable, especially on first down. If LSU can't run the ball, if you're not multi-dimensional, you're not dimensional at all, and that's the kiss of death in this league. I don't care how athletic your quarterback is.
All right, Elvis, last one for you, bro. The expansion to the 12-team college football playoff story was kind of buried last Friday, but very expected, right? This was imminent.
Yeah. And look, it's going to end up going past 12. I felt like 8 was the perfect number because once you start getting past 12, you start messing with the regular season. And it's not watering down the regular season. That's a common misconception. It's going to be making the end of the regular season more interesting. It's going to be making the end of the regular season less opt-out-ish because more teams will have chances. But I feel like the more teams you add to the playoff, the less regular season games we're going to end up having. I think if we end up going to a 16 team or an 18 or 20 team playoff down the road, you're going to have to go back to 11 regular season games, and the more teams we add to conferences, the more in-game conference games you're going to have to play. You can't play less. Like, look at the SEC. You're going to have 16 teams. Well, now you got to go to a 9-game in-conference schedule. So if you're eliminating regular season games and you're adding in-conference games to the schedule, we're going to end up losing non-conference games. So it's just a weird way we're going.
At Jake Crain _ on Twitter. Catch him every morning, 7:30 Eastern time, so 6:30 here Central time for you on
Crain & Co.
On Crain & Co. Thank you as always, bro. We'll talk next week. We'll pick back up on Mondays.
Hey, definitely, Jordy. Got to get you on this week to talk some LSU. I know it's against Southern, but I'm trying to get LSU fans to just calm down. We're all in the trust tree, not worried about the waitress at Applebee's and what underwear she's wearing. So just everybody be in the trust tree.
What if it's something I've never even seen before?
Probably just
I don't know. Maybe they're black. White. Who knows?
Your standard cotton.
Later, buddy.
All right, later.
Jake Crain checking in from Crain & Company. Who knew the hair was so good?
It is so good.
Great head of hair.
Literally getting Elvis vibes.
It's like TV hair.
Why is he wearing a hat all the time if it
no
looks
idea.
like that? Where's eyes real?
I mean, I wear a hat all the time because I got no hair.
Yeah.
I'm covering up an insecurity. If I had hair like that,
he's got the
I would
hair.
walk around with just my hair.
Yeah.
A hair and a watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People won't even notice that you weren't wearing
like
clothes.
my watch?
Like, oh,
yeah. Right. Yeah, you know I'm naked. What time is it? No, I didn't know that. I couldn't get
Still
past
staring up
your hair.
Where's Oz real?
Yeah,
Are those
right.
contacts?
Yeah. I've got my eyes closed. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
It's your stand.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Boutte, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Kayshawn Boutte.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School, I played like right after Mark. But just has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. And he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
Man, so kind of when I entered the transfer portal, I knew, what type of facility, what type of, program I wanted to go to. Being that before I committed to Ohio State, my first unofficial was to LSU.
Oh, wow.
And but that was when Coach O and Crain was here or whatever. But definitely the coaches, the scheme Kelly, trying to bring in, trying to implement, his way of going, like detailed person. That's where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be.
Did you have any experience with Coach Kelly?
No, I had no experience. No.
Really? Who was your main recruiter from LSU?
Sherman Wilson. Yeah, he was. Stay consistent. Honest. Just gave it to me straight.
Yeah.
And this is where I wanted to be.
How do you feel about that number at this university playing that position?
Yeah, man, I definitely want it. He wanted to come in and prove, to my teammates, not just the coaches, but to my teammates that I got to go play with, that, I deserve it. And once I do that, then, everything is, up from there.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced.
And the nucleus of LSU's team has to be from Louisiana. You can look up every championship run, and the nucleus of all of those squads have been from the state. You've always had outside influences, whether it's been Brandon LaFell or Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, pick the one that you wanna bring in. But there's always been that one big time player. I think that the weekend that LSU had this past weekend, where they brought in like Ashton Stamps from Rummel, who's a DB from New Orleans, 3-star guy, but you've seen his recruitment really start to pick up. But then when you look at what they did outside of the area, and look, I'm big on guarding the state, get Louisiana first, and then build your class outside of that. But if you can go into other states and you can take, teams, states' best players, like LSU did over the weekend. Jackson Howard's the number 1 player in Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have any football. I get it that they don't have the traditional football, players, high school programs that Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia do. But if you can go in and take somebody's number 1 player, who was it? Tayshawn Bowers a few years ago, the big stand-up defensive end who was out of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He was the number 1 player out of New Jersey that recruiting cycle. Came down here, took him a while. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To catch on, but by his senior season, he was a problem coming off the edge. I mean, you look at this guy, Jackson Howard from Minnesota, right? Like, I mean, he looks like an SEC football player. His physique, his style, the way he plays. You look at a guy like Joshua Mickens. Mickens is the number 1 player in the state of Indiana. All right, like Indiana football. You don't think of football when you think Indiana. You think basketball, right? But, I mean, you go in there and you take the top player who's a rush defensive end. When you watch the film, man, that guy looks like a SEC caliber type recruit, prospect. And LSU's able to get number 1 player in Minnesota, number 1 player in Indiana. Deshaun Womack, who we spoke to yesterday, a highly rated player in the state of Maryland. Deron Reed, who's a top flight player in the state of Georgia. I get going out and getting these elite players from around the country, and I think LSU has the brand to shop it nationally. But yes, I do believe that your core has.
Are we back?
Yes.
Okay, so check out my shirt. Check out my Michael Jordan shirt. Let's get a better view, Stevie, at least. Back up a little bit. Back up so y'all can see
people,
this tee.
giving the people what they want.
So you can get your own T-shirt. Do you have one on, Stewie? No, you don't.
No.
All right.
I wore mine for the game.
You wore yours for the game. So
We're
you can
live.
get your own at nylathreads.com. Chris East is making these. His Instagram is at nylathreads, and there's a discount code Jordy20 that you can use through September 15th. He said a ton of people have used it already. I think it saves you like $5 a shirt. And you can also request custom shirts at nylathreads@yahoo.com. That's Chris East. Get in touch with him and get your own shirt.
They're reversible.
Be
Show them,
like
Katie.
Mike, they are not reversible.
Show them it's reversible.
They are cute.
Everybody chill out on Kayshawn. Like, really.
Where'd you just come from? Did something just happen back there?
No, I mean, I'm reading the
Is he
chat.
back there?
I'm reading the chat
Is he back
because
there?
Coach Ryan Antoine's interview, obviously one of the interviews that we did in the offseason, plays during the break, and people reacting to us asking who's the best athlete to ever come out of it's New Iberia.
It's Westgate.
Yeah.
Westgate High.
And, obviously Jared Mitchell is in that discussion. Mark Roman is in that discussion. And Coach
Stewie?
Antoine, who knows that area and
Good
played
Westgate
there,
coach.
named Kayshawn. I mean, everybody. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on Kayshawn. On Balin, on Kayshawn.
Some of y'all don't even have the talent in your toes
And
that
it's
Kayshawn has
not even
in his
about
body.
that. It's not even about the talent because, I mean, Kayshawn is a world-class athlete that has played a lot of football at LSU. And the data tells you that in all of those games, he's usually the best player on the field, and he's going to make the play. In one particular game, it wasn't that for him. And his body language sucked. It looked like his attitude was off. It looked like he was not checked in like we're used to seeing him play. But that's one game out of, what do you have? You got 15, 14, 16 games, I think, that you've got to evaluate him on. 17 now after last night, 2 nights ago. And the majority of those games, he's the best player you got. And for one game last Sunday, it didn't look good. It didn't go good. It didn't work out. That's going to happen in sports. That's going to happen in football. That's going to happen to premier athletes where a guy's going to have a night off. We've seen that from guys at LSU, from athletes with the NFL and the Saints, people that you follow. I mean, Joe Burrow's had days off. He's had nights. I know that we haven't seen him a lot, but I mean, there are games that he wants back. Think about that junior season he had here.
Florida.
But he didn't project that kind of attitude.
No, he didn't project that type of attitude.
Issue.
And he didn't. And
I think that's
what I'm saying is that for as much as we're talking about a grace period that you want to give coaches and you want to give people time, Kayshawn Boutte deserves a bit of grace on all that we've seen after one outlying circumstance on Sunday night. And look, I'm not taking up for Kayshawn because him and I are boys. We're not super tight, but he's come through here. He's a good dude. He's got the best interest of LSU at heart. And like I said, he has to have LSU football to succeed. Like it serves him no good to play like that and to have that attitude. And I guarantee you, someone has gotten to him and sat him down and showed him what that looked like and said, man, hey, if you're going after that Stingley Chase money, this ain't the way to get there. This is not going to get you there.
No, it's
what
not.
You've done the previous games and the way that you've carried yourself, that's why people want you, man. That's why people are interested in you. So you got to shake this stuff. And even though you may feel like that coming off the field in between a 3 and out, don't show anybody.
But
and when
he
you got
did.
opportunities to make plays, yeah, I know. Again,
How does he control that though? Because we
because he
kind of
has to
expect
see
that.
how bad it looks.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
he should.
he's 20 years old. He's a young professional. Wants to be a young professional in football.
That ain't it, Coach.
Like that's not the way you get there.
But that's the one thing that if you're Kayshawn Boutte, you couldn't do. Like that's what I think makes people upset, and that's what's cause for concern. If you're an NFL scout, if you're looking to like draft him in the NFL and put him a part of your roster, hell, if you're Brian Kelly, like Kayshawn, you knew that all odds were going to be on you and how you responded and how you looked. Not only how you played, but how you carried yourself on the field. And he did the exact opposite of what he was supposed to do as a player for LSU.
I mean, people look.
But I understand what. I don't care if he played good or bad. That control you can control. You can control your attitude. You can control your leadership, and he didn't do that, and that's why people are upset with him because this was the cause for concern, right? Like I understand why people are upset with him, but you still have to give him the rest of the year to shake back.
Cody Boudreaux, no grace on attitude. Sorry, you are who you are with the attitude. So you're telling me that you've seen the majority of that attitude from Kayshawn over every time he's played?
That was the first time.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. That's the first time he ever looked disengaged, checked out. Was it a BS move? Yeah, it was. But you have to have Kayshawn to beat Tennessee. You have to have Kayshawn to beat Mississippi State.
You have to have Kayshawn plays, though.
Yeah, right. And
he's going to make those
the majority of the time, he's made the plays. That's why people are reacting to him dropping the ball and his attitude, because this is an outlying situation. Stephen Miller, man, come on, bro. I love you, Jay, but comparing Boutte to Burrow just ain't it. I'm not comparing Boutte to Burrow. I'm saying everybody in football has nights off that they'd like to have back, whether it's dropping balls or your attitude and your body language look like crap.
Still had to catch on that last drive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not comparing anybody to anyone. I'm saying even the most elite have days off. And even the most elite may have an attitude adjustment that they need to make, whether it's internally with the team from things that the way they talk to teammates or the way you carry yourself going in and out of the huddle and on and off the field where national television cameras pick them up. You know, that at some point that was going to happen to Kayshawn. The best way that this can be handled with Kayshawn is that sit down and look at that, okay? Look at that on television. Look at what the world sees when they see number 7 wearing purple and gold at LSU. You think that looks good? You think that's something that you, your agent, your marketing department can sell to an NFL scout, general manager, or owner? Because you can't. And I'd imagine that Jamar Chase has probably picked up the phone, or Terrace Tolliver, or people that are in the league that have paid their dues, Justin Jefferson, that Kayshawn Boutte looks up to, Odell Beckham. You think Odell Beckham's got a good attitude every time he plays? How many times have we talked about Odell Beckham's attitude when he's had a night off?
But I think it's more to do with the fact that he left and then he got paid to come back and then he got number 7.
Katie, that's football in today's world.
Right.
That happened at Alabama.
Right,
that happened at
Texas. A lot more is expected out of him because of that.
And he didn't meet expectation in game 1. I guarantee you he meets expectation in his junior season. I would bet on Kayshawn before I bet on a passionate LSU football fan that wants to turn on him after one game. I'm just telling you that you got to have him and he's got to have you. So at the end of the day, what you saw on Sunday night, that's not the norm. That's not the rule. That was the exception of what we've seen over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the standout performance that you look at and you say, hey, man, your attitude wasn't right, your body language sucked, and you didn't make plays. If you don't get that right, your stock is going to plummet for the NFL. And what are you really playing for this year, Kay?
Right.
What are you playing for? You're playing for future earning? Well, how much you want to earn? Because Jamar Chase is making 25 guaranteed. Stingley's making 30 guaranteed. They were both top 5 picks, and you're in the discussion. You want that money? You can't play like that. If you want the money, you need to go back and watch film from what you were doing the last 2 years, and you need to bring that attitude back because the game is there. That's like you can't lose that the game is there, right? Oilfield Trash 12 says you're missing the point, Jordy. What's the point? What's the point? That he had an off night with a bad attitude and bad body language? I get it. I saw the same thing you did. I'm betting on that doesn't happen more than him coming out and making plays down the line because of what I've seen. That's it. Not because I'm taking up for the kid. What?
Yeah.
This is WBRZ, Michael Caldwell, just showing some of the Kayshawn plays. What sticks out to me the most, he's tired of fucking losing. I'm tired of not, that's frustrating,
you know? Injury. You've been on the shelf for a long time. It's been a crazy off season. I'm not making excuses. If I was in his coaching room, if I was in his corner, I would tell him, that ain't going to work. Sunday night's not going to work. Making plays, body language. No.
I don't think you could transfer mid-season anymore.
And Kayshawn Boutte can't transfer because that would be a hit on him.
Right.
Like, go make plays where you are. Go be the best player on LSU's team, and you'll be okay. Like, he is in a situation now where he has to have LSU football. LSU football needs him.
Well, he didn't act like it, but I hear you.
I think he's just frustrated, man. He's tired of losing. Think about the teams he's
win.
been a part of.
Make the plays
yeah,
and win then.
for sure.
He could have done that. I don't get it.
I mean, he did make a play at the end of the game.
He gonna bounce back. There's no doubt about that.
It wasn't like he was completely out of it. And people talk about the interview with Coach Antoine. I guarantee Coach Antoine was probably one of the first people to pick up the phone and say,
No doubt.
You can't do that. Like, that can't happen.
He has an inner circle. I do know well enough that he's got an inner circle that keeps him checked.
Yeah.
Not everybody's throwing
would
rose
hope
petals
so.
at his feet.
No.
Not everybody's telling him how great he is.
Yeah.
Not everybody's telling him just that, you can act how you want to act and you're going to get yours.
Yeah.
There are people in his life that check him. And I guarantee he's listening. You know what I mean? Like, I come on, man. We all know Kayshawn. He's been in here. You think that's who he is? Really? Y'all, you've seen him in here for a year and a half. He's been walking through this. He's come on the show. You really think that's who he is? Like that? I believe that I know him well enough that I looked at that was just frustration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was just a competitor getting into a competitive situation where stuff's not working out, and sometimes you don't know how to deal with it. And sometimes you've had enough of it. And sometimes your surgically repaired foot that you've been sitting on for 6 months has got you thinking. You know what I mean? Just whatever it may be, man. Again, I'm not trying to make excuses for Kayshawn. I'm just telling you, betting on the future, I'm riding with 7. I'm betting on him. And if he makes an ass out of me, I'll call myself out. But look at all the data I got on this side to say, Cat's a player. Dude's a good dude. I mean, I know Nussmeier and him have a relationship where they've been together since day one. They're teammates. They trust one another. They respect one another. You know, I mean, all that stuff doesn't just happen by accident. And, I mean, come on, Stephen Miller, you've officiated enough games at a high level where you've caught a coach, a player, in a situation where, he might yell, scream, but that's just not really his personality. One night where you've had some guy and you're like, man, I remember that night I had you against Struma last year and you were just, but regularly you're always a pretty even keel guy. I mean, there are moments within competition and competitors where, I mean, coaches get thrown out of games. They look back on it and they're like, how the hell did that happen? You just lost your cool, bro. You just melted in the moment. You weren't yourself. You kind of stepped out of your suit for a minute. Like as they sit down, you're like, shit, man, what did I just do? I mean, like, how did that just happen? You just got kind of caught up in the moment. So, look, man, I'm just saying that Kayshawn's criticism is deserved for Sunday night. But hating on Kayshawn? Come on. I mean, you really believe that that's who Kayshawn's going to be week in, week out? After watching him play for the last 2 years? I would just bet against that. And if you feel that way, I guess I understand from what you saw on Sunday night. But one game compared to the rest of the data you got? I would ride with him for a minute. Football God. I love this guy.
I know.
I love Football God.
I love all his wills.
Newest member of the chat here. It's like Jordy isn't really the kind of parent that gets kicked out of Little League games. Thank you, Football God. But I am.
Yes, you're not infallible, Football God.
Oilfield Trash 12 says, only bad about Jordy is he gets personal relationships with these people and loses objectivity. Fair criticism.
Yeah.
But I would tell this to Kayshawn to his face. I mean, like, I would have no problems telling Kayshawn, bro, you're great. You're awesome, man. I mean, Sunday night was a very much an outlying situation of what we've seen. All good? You all good? Everything good? I mean, I think that LSU is Got to have Kayshawn. Kayshawn's got to have LSU.
Okay.
Somebody said Boutte needs a massage. Call Deshaun Watson.
It's only 11 games. John Emery got more.
I don't know. I'm just not seeing it. I don't like it.
Who?
Kayshawn.
I mean,
I just think he's entitled and has a bad attitude. I think he always has. That's my take. Sticking by it.
It's a mom.
It is. I mean, from what I've seen of him and from what I know, I don't see it.
He'll be all right.
All right, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here on this Tuesday. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Hit that QR code in the top right of your screen. Remember, Caesar Sportsbook giving you an opportunity to play. The promo code is JCLSU Full. JCLSU Full. You got to make a play, deposit it, and make a bet to become eligible over there at Caesar Sportsbook for the $1,250 risk free that they're able to bet with the promo code.
That's
JC Full
for first
LSU.
time bettors. I think that's what's confusing to people. Like this has to be your first bet with Caesars. Like you download the app and use that code, and then you can make the bet. So if the code's not working, this isn't like a weekly. It changes up, and this is like a boost or anything.
This is to sign up people that don't have an account.
Yes, this is if you don't have a Caesars account already. So if you already have one, no, it is gonna when you sign in, it is gonna tell you that you can't use that promo code. It has to be your first sign up.
Bet.
Hit the like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Make sure and tune in to Hold the Rope tonight. Skip, Cano, and Dan and Lloyd.
Lloyd's tired.
We'll be here at 6 p.m.
It's all about the camp money.
Hold the Rope with TK and the crew. They'll be here at 6
First
o'clock.
break at 6:06.
Make sure and download
Stops
it.
at
Make
3.
sure and subscribe to Hold the Rope YouTube. Master executive producer Lloyd Courtney putting on his display of work for you right there. Get his rest in here on game day.
I'm with you, Kayshawn.
I'll make the face for you all afternoon.
Oh.
Hit the like button, share button, comment button. There he is. There he is. There he is.
Under the table and
He's got his
dreaming.
premium membership only on OnlyFans.
Laptop's going up.
That's right. Foot Finder, Carpool Queen Freak 69.
Wait, well, you added freak. Why did you add freak?
This is Carpool Queen 69.
Carpool Freak.
That's another one I
Yeah,
followed.
Should've went with that one.
Another
Sorry.
queen's out there with their feet all of
Hit the like button. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Kill me.